Hello everyone, my name is Suyog Sathe. I'm from India. First of all, I would like to thank the organizers at Global Genes for inviting me to this important forum to talk about the rare disease scenario in India. So, to briefly introduce myself, I work as a director and regional manager for South Asia for the International Gaucher Alliance, which is an international umbrella organization working for the welfare of Gaucher patients worldwide. I also work as a coordinator for the state of Maharashtra for the Lysosomal Storage Disorder Support Society, which is a pan-India support group working for patients suffering from lysosomal storage disorders. And I'm also a member of the panel of experts for WHO's Collaborative Global Network for Rare Diseases. So, talking about the current situation and challenges facing the rare disease community in India, there are currently around 450 types of rare diseases that have been reported so far. However, definitive treatment is available only for 10 to 12 to 15 types of rare diseases. At present, there is also a lack of proper epidemiological data and a definition of rare diseases in the Indian context, which makes it difficult to precisely determine the quantum of burden. And however, going by the global estimates of around 6 to 8% of the population being affected by rare diseases, it is expected that anywhere between 72 to 96 million people in India suffer from some form of rare disease. Besides that, there is generally low awareness about rare diseases among the public, policymakers, and even medical professionals. As a result of the low public awareness, consanguineous marriages are also prevalent in some parts of the country, which further increases the incidence of rare genetic conditions in these regions. So the diagnosis is quite challenging, especially in rural areas, as most labs and hospitals that are capable of a diagnosis are concentrated only in some urban centers. And currently, there is also negligible financial support for rare diseases from the government, which makes most patients rely on humanitarian programs of pharma companies. After years of advocacy and judicial intervention, in 2017, the government came up with a promising national policy for rare diseases, which was formulated by the medical experts across the country, and it proposed a 60-40 cost sharing mechanism between the central and state governments in India. However, the government later withdrew this policy and came up with a new policy this year, which classifies rare diseases into three groups. So, for group 1 disorders that require a one time treatment, the government has outlaid a one time healthcare allocation of around 27,000 USD. And for group 3 disorders that are often the most expensive to treat and also require lifelong treatment, the government has cited resource constraints and competing healthcare interests, and it has proposed setting up a digital platform to facilitate crowdfunding and CSR donations for the treatment of such diseases. Now let's have a look at some of the possible solutions to address these challenges. First of all, there is a need for a national registry for rare diseases, which has already been initiated by the Indian Council of Medical Research as part of the new rare disease policy. Now, as anyone would clearly understand, crowdfunding is clearly not a practical and sustainable solution for rare diseases, which often require exorbitantly expensive and lifelong treatment. Hence, there should be a fixed allocation of funds under the health budget. The cap of around 27,000 USD for group 1 disorders that require one time treatment should be removed or increased. And also, with respect to pricing, the pharma companies should reconsider their one size fits all approach, and they should price therapies according to the economy and income of a particular country. For example, a pricing model that would work in a developed Western economy is unlikely to be feasible for the government of a low or middle income country, even if the government is willing to support the treatment. And further, there is a need to improve the diagnostic facilities, especially in rural areas. There is a need to increase awareness amongst the general public, especially in areas with high prevalence of consanguineous marriages. Genetic screening and prenatal testing also needs to be made mandatory across the country. And also to improve the awareness amongst medical professionals, the medical curriculum needs to be amended to give due emphasis and importance to rare diseases. So to conclude, timely diagnosis and treatment play a crucial role, as in most cases they can help patients live a near normal life. We have many examples of patients who are leading productive lives despite not getting treatment, and are engineers and doctors professionally, thereby contributing to nation building. As such, the government should really not consider these patients as a burden. The government is also obligated under the constitutional right to life to provide the necessary treatment to anyone in need of it, irrespective of the high cost of treatment or the small number of patients. The government should also note that all lives are equally important, and so it should not set priorities when it comes to saving someone's life. Also, as a member of the United Nations, India is bound by the UN resolution to achieve universal health coverage by 2030, which it cannot achieve by neglecting rare disease patients. So that's all from me, and I would once again like to thank the organizers for giving me this wonderful opportunity. Thank you for your attention.